And you see that on the posts on the tonal community is I can't wait for my tonal to come. I want to lose 60 pounds, and people have done it and they admire the heck out of that. But typically a person is not going to lose a ton of weight just by exclusively changing one part of their life. They can work out really aggressively, or they can strap themselves to the Peloton or do whatever. But unless they change their eating habits and they change their activity level, you probably aren't going to get to that. It has to be a complete lifestyle readjustment. And buying a tonal and just working out will certainly make you stronger, healthier, and happier, but you're probably not going to lose 60 pounds. There are exceptions.
Time to hit the gym, better do it smart. Get your own coach, there where you are. Start the day right, there in your home. With the smartest gym in the world, ready, set, go. Smart panel, smart bar, smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right, AI, form and vibe. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a total workout.
Welcome to the Superset Podcast, episode 30. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hello.
Hi.
I just got done doing my tonal. So if I sound winded or if I look peaked,
That's why?
That's why. I don't want people to be concerned.
Yeah. They're concerned, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah. People are always concerned.
They're like, Tom looks like he's about to pass out. Why is he so red? Did Crystal tell him a dirty joke right before it started? It'd have to be really dirty to make me blush.
That's so true.
Yeah. So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we're going to talk all about these brand new coaches at Tonal, and there's some new news that dropped today that we're going to discuss. Plus, there's tons of new content we got to talk through. And also, we have an amazing interview with Joe Wetterhahn. So we have a lot going on in this episode.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and rate, review, and subscribe. And you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/supersetpodcast. While you're there, like the page and join the group. And while you're on a social media platform, that's the easiest thing you can do to help the show is just share it on your Facebook feed or what have you.
Yeah.
If you like Tonal, you probably have friends that have a Tonal. They might enjoy the show as well. So you can also, if you want to watch these episodes, find us on YouTube at youtube.com/The Clip Out, which is the name of our other podcast, but everything lives on one YouTube channel. And you can watch these shows in their entirety if you want to see us talk to the guests and whatnot. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
New instructors.
We have new coaches.
4. Count them, 4.
Holy cow.
I know.
So we have 4 new coaches.
We do. 4 of them. It's going to be Brendan Ahanbedejo, Nikki Metzger, Kendall Wood, and Trace Gotsis. And hopefully I did not butcher their names too badly.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Brendan.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So Brendan is a former professional football player. He describes his coaching style as drill sergeant. Now, I know that can have a little bit of a negative connotation, but I see that as like a Coach Jackson. So that actually really works well for a lot of people.
I was like, gulp.
But right now you can already get 3 strength-based workouts from Coach Brendan that are going to help you channel your inner athlete. And then we have Nikki Metzger. She is a certified strength coach and former Nike master trainer.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that amazing? Now, this is very interesting to me. She recently discovered her true calling as a trainer during the pandemic. So she's new.
Wow. How about that? But talk about like baptism by fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you like virtual, Nikki, because here you are.
That's like, hey, this baseball glove looks interesting. I play for the Yankees now.
Right? Well, she says that she loves showing up and serving her community, and being a tonal coach is all about that. And then we have Coach Kendall Wood. After moving to Los Angeles, Coach Kendall, and now I want to make sure everybody knows this, AKA Coach Woody. So if you hear anybody referring to Woody, it is Kendall Wood goes by Coach Woody.
Which means, just for balance now, they have to hire a Coach Buzz.
Okay, yeah. Because, you know, Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz and Woody.
Yeah. Well, Coach Woody took a leap of faith and traded a career in digital media for fitness. So that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
Well, now she's bringing her contagious high energy to 3 new tonal workouts. So they're already on the trainer. You can go check those out.
Okay.
And then we have Coach Trace. Fitness motivates Coach Trace because it's an opportunity to encourage others to work toward the best versions of themselves. And he's bringing 3 new workouts also to help you work up a physical and mental sweat. Also, of particular note to myself and you, Tom, he is from Kansas City.
Oh, that's relatively close to here.
Yeah.
That's just like a 4-hour drive. Super
easy.
easy.
It's in the same state. So
right.
I'll take it.
We'll take it. I was just like, oh, I need to try him because he has this, because I was like Trace Billou from Mr. Science Theater.
There's a lot of cultural references in all of their names that you are making.
I'm like, anything that makes it nerdy, I'll give a shot.
Yeah, that works. Hey, whatever works to get you to take a class, Tom, we'll take it.
New tonal content.
As always, there is tons of new content, so we can kind of walk through that. By we, I mean you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go very fast, but sure. there is so much. One of the things I want to highlight though is Coach Liz's new ankle mobility clinic. Mm-hmm. I think that people really, I feel like we kind of tend to, as a whole, skip over mobility, but it's so important to keep moving. Mobility is important to be able to keep moving. And so I want to make sure people saw that and give it a try if you haven't. And then there are all kinds of new things. Let's see. We've got athletic sculpt with Coach Nikki. We've got lean legs with Coach Gabby, a warm-up flow with Coach Nicolette. Then we have recovery. So this one is a postural perfection with Coach Jared. Lord knows I could use that after sitting at my computer all day.
Yeah.
A quick cardio crusher with Coach Woody. Beginner boot camp with Coach Amy. Boxing for beginners with Coach Woody. I can't wait to check that out because that's another coach that's doing boxing.
Right.
So I want to check that out. And then back to kickboxing, we have Capora kicks with Coach Brett.
So you have Coach Woody doing boxing and Coach Brett doing boxing.
Kickboxing.
I think they should fight.
You think they should fight?
They should fight each other.
Oh, boy. Uh-oh. That could get scary fast. Well, probably not until COVID's done. We need to make sure that they're following proper COVID protocols. And then there's new meditation called Moment of Calm with Coach Allison. There's new yoga, vinyasa for hip mobility with Coach Nikki, more recovery basics with Coach Jake. So if you've never really focused on recovery, that'd be a good one to start with.
Yeah.
Full body Pilates basics with Coach Francis. Core heat bar with Coach Francis. That is definitely not for beginners. That's for intermediate. And then we've got more. Coach Brendan has Strength for Life. There's movement basics with Coach Woody. Endless summer body with Coach Trace. Cardio legs with Coach Trace. Let's get pumped with Coach Nikki. Stable base with Coach Nikki. Balanced burn with Brendan. Core challenge with Brendan. Buys and tries with Coach Woody. Keep it coming crusher, Coach Woody. Break a sweat with Coach Nikki. And can you handle it, Coach Trace? And then more yoga, more flows. This one's a chill flow with Coach Francis. Pilates powerhouse cardio with Coach Francis. More new bar, discovering your core. Spinal mobility with Coach Jared. And release negativity. Who could not use that meditation? That's Coach Nikki. And more kids camp, new family. This is karate with Coach Paul. So tons. Like if you're looking for kids content, bar, mobility, yoga, just regular old strength, hit cardio, we got it.
karate, you can add Coach Paul to the Brett and Woody fight.
Oh my gosh.
It's like going to be like an action movie.
You know what they should do is not just have a fight. They should actually have one of those like tournaments where they like, because I think that like most of the instructors, they're pretty fit. So I think they could all join in.
Yeah.
You know, they could all join in and they could fight. And then like whoever wins that round goes to the next round and they have like this big thing and we could all bet on them. This sounds like a lot of fun.
It's like Tonal Fight Club.
Yeah. Who can shadow box the other person? And I just want to say for the all of those new classes, I have been seeing tons of good things, but especially want to call out Can You Handle It? I have seen so many people take that and say very, very good things about how hard it was, but like really, really good workout. So check it out.
Awesome.
Tonal Book Club.
Your September book club selection has been announced.
Yes, it has. It is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, PhD.
Because we're tired. Seems like a short book.
Yep, got that covered. Thanks, Tom.
I don't even have a PhD. My guess is there's more to it than that.
Yeah, I think this is more about improving your
Sure.
sleep, you know, but that book title was probably taken. So this gives the why it's important to sleep. How about that?
Okay.
But I think that, again, this is about improving it. So this will be an interesting book club. I think to hear what people do today and what they make change, like what kind of changes they make as they go through the process of reading the book, what kind of advice they take and what things they learned from each other.
In case you missed it.
And the September Community Challenge is upon us.
It is. For September, it's going to be Hyped Up Hypertrophy with Coach Nicolette.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I've seen you.
I'm halfway through it.
How is it going, Tom?
Well, I talked about how peaked I was at the beginning of this episode, and that is why.
Yeah, and each of these workouts are pretty long, right?
Yeah, the one I did today was 54 minutes. I mean, that's how long it was supposed to be, but it might have been a little longer for me. But she's got you working for a good stretch of time. But
yeah, are there breaks between each move?
Well, there are, whether there are or not.
Okay, there are for you. So are they programmed in?
Yeah, I mean, she keeps you moving. It's not too bad. Like,
okay.
and there's like active recoveries for you to kind of recuperate a little bit. So it's not too terribly bad. I'm making it sound worse than it is.
Well, I'm asking because I want to try it.
Gotcha.
So but I haven't been working on the tonal. I've been doing a lot of cardio for MetPro, and so I'm a little scared of this one, to be honest. I don't know if I should jump in and like just go for it, or if I should like ease into it with something else. So we'll see. But that's why I'm asking. It's
Gotcha.
Totally selfish question, but I figure somebody else out there might have questions too.
Yeah, totally.
But the challenges are really cool because you don't just do this program. You also have all these other things going on all month long. So one of the things that you get is for Facebook Live, there are going to be movement technique workshops that Coach Nicolette is going to run. She's going to give you an in-depth guidance on moves like the neutral grip deadlift, the lat pull down, bent over row, overhead press, goblet squat. So you can really get into those moves and make sure that you're doing them really well. It gives you the confidence to know you're doing them really well. Like I said, there's going to be 4 of those, so one every week. There's also going to be 30 days of curated workouts. Again, not just the hyped up hypertrophy, but also every single day has something. Sometimes it's mobility, sometimes it's a yoga class. So it's different every day. And you can check out the group. It's called Coach Nicolette's Hyped Up Hypertrophy Challenge. When you go to that group, you can quickly find the calendar under the announcements. You'll be able to follow along. And there's, of course, group accountability. And at the end, there is an end of program celebration that everybody gets to join in. Very cool.
Awesome. Also, if you live in the Los Angeles area, Tonal wants to talk to you.
Yeah, they are looking for people in the LA area, as Tom said, to participate in a 30 to 60 minute market research study. If you qualify and you participate, you will be compensated for your time. Compensation begins at $75 for people that complete it. Yes, and there is a link that you need to use to to apply. There's a 5 to 10 minute screening survey that you have to complete in order to see if you're eligible. So that's like step one. And if you do qualify, you can go to the in-store interview at Century City Mall or a focus group at the Jackson Adept Research in Beverly Hills, California. It's going to be August 30th and 31st. So people probably are going to have already missed the date by the time that this airs, but it's pretty cool. And I can't wait to see what they are getting ready to do.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what they're researching.
I know.
I'm also pretty impressed that Coach Jackson has his own marketing firm.
Coach Jackson, he just is into all kinds of things.
Yeah.
He's got a little dabbling in a little of this, dabbling in a little of that.
He's like, oh, side hustle, start a marketing firm.
I don't think that they're actually related.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what we still need to chat about?
What's that?
We need to chat about this really, really cool new thing that just dropped today for social.
Okay. You can connect with friends and get stronger together on Tonal.
This is so cool. You can follow people on Tonal and they can follow you. And so now whenever you open up the app, well, you have to make sure you downloaded the most recent version. So it's got to be version 4.0.0 or further if somebody listens to this down the road.
Okay.
But when you download it, you can have an option to go to your profile. There's like a social tab and you have to change your visibility to be like, show my leaderboard name, don't make my profile private, to be able to participate in this. And then you can go follow people. So if you already follow them on Facebook and they are using this app, you will automatically be suggested those people. And if not, then all you got to do is go follow this really cool thread that Kate started over on the official Tonal community. Now, she started a really neat flash challenge that what she is trying to do is get as many people on this thread to follow each other as possible. So the goal is 15,000 member-to-member follows in 24 hours. If we make this date, then she will randomly select 15 members from the thread to win a Tonal gift box.
Ooh, fancy.
Yes. It's really cool though, because whenever you have all these friends in your feed, you can see what workouts they did and when they completed them. And then you can like put your reaction to it. And it's not just like and love. They've got like a strength reaction and a heart reaction and a fire emoji. So like they're really fun. And I love seeing that in my feed. It's very motivating to see what other people are doing. Also, I haven't been using Tonal and I became very, very aware of how empty my feed is. And I was like totally embarrassed. So I need to get some workouts in ASAP. So Tom, are you going to share? Are you going to share yours so I can follow you?
You have to
download the app, honey.
I've never downloaded the app because I just go to the machine. And
well, I'm going to download the app on your phone.
Okay. You'll have to figure out how to log me in because I was going to change my screen name and couldn't remember my password. It still says Brian 2.
You're a mess, honey.
I am a mess. Hey, I'm lifting. That counts for something, right?
It does. It counts for a lot. A lot.
Checking in with the Tonal community.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Joseph Wetterhahn. Hey, how's it going?
Perfect.
I feel weird. Can I call you? Can I just say Joe? Do I gotta say doctor?
That works.
Dr. Joe?
What about Dr. Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just my wife. She has to call me that.
Okay.
Dr. J. You'll sound like a basketball player.
Yeah.
Oh, you reach for the sports one there. I saw that.
The only one I know.
Yeah.
I know your left hand did that reachy thing. I was, basketball, hockey. Which way was he?
I only know him because he was in all the Hostess cupcake ads in Marvel comics when I was a kid.
Well, thank goodness it had nothing to do with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa, I did know a basketball player that wasn't a Harlem Globetrotter. How about that?
Yeah. See, you're expanding your sports horizons.
Yeah.
So, Joe,
Wait, back to me. All right.
Hi.
Yeah.
I am curious how you originally found out about Tonal and decided I'm bringing this guy home. And how long ago was that?
All right. So let's see, Joe's fitness journey. I grew up on a farm as a farm kid. Okay. Farm went broke because farms do that. But grew up doing that kind of stuff, was in reasonably good shape, played hockey primarily and baseball, hockey primarily as a high schooler, and stayed in pretty good shape just through manual labor. Okay. So then life goes on. I go to college medical school, get married, have kids, and found that time of my life was the least healthy I've ever been. Gained weight, couldn't run, couldn't do anything. My son was a little squirt, maybe a little 4-year-old, and I couldn't catch him running up a hill one day. And I said, well, this has to change. So I did nothing. So I said, this has to change. So I started to run, and then running leads you to think that you need to do more than cardio. So I started to do some resistance training at home, as like Star-Lord and Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy. I bought a Bowflex and I committed. And I knew Tom would like that. And I, just started working out at home, which then leads you to say this is not sufficient. So you end up going to the gym. And so I became kind of a Y rat for a good 10 years, or so, 15 years or so. And then life circumstances change, and I'm living far enough away from the Y that it's just not practical to do that. So then I kind of tried to find a way to continue my resistance training at home, and was never satisfied, primarily because it's hard to really, for someone like me, it was hard for me to work out well at home. I have dumbbells, I have, bars, I have whatever, but shoulder pain, no spotter, you can't get the weights in position. I was using lighter and lighter weights because I didn't have anybody there to help me. At the Y, you've got the guy who's going to help you put the dumbbells, in position for a good shoulder press. At home, it's just you try to lift it, your shoulder hurts like hell, you think you've torn something, and you're done. So then I saw, I do believe it was a television ad. I don't even remember how I found Tonal, but I saw that and said, I wonder if this is real or if this is just another TV thing.
Totally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it looks incredible. And so I'm immediately skeptical because I'm skeptical by nature about things. And so I just do my research and I see some reviews and I kind of look at some of the tech specs and I talk to the chief financial officer in the house and she gives me the thumbs up. And she says, if you use it, which I know you will, I think it's a great idea, which is her way of saying you better do something because I'm 9 years younger and I'm not going to have walking around a guy looking like that. So
I know the feeling. Yeah.
I know we live the life. And so that was how I think it was might have been a television ad, but my own personal research. And then we got it. I ordered it mid-pandemic. I think I ordered it in October, arrived in December, installed it, fell in love with it, went cross-country skiing with the lovely Mrs. Wetterhahn on our Christmas trip to Lake Placid, New York, fell, dislocated my elbow. And then that really put the damper on using it with any kind of intensity until probably, I really feel like I kind of got doing it in February of this year and been, and everything I'd hoped it would be, it is. I mean, it is, it is very challenging. I hate the AI. It hates me. The constant ratcheting up of the resistance. It's like, come on, just cut me a freaking break on some of these. It doesn't hurt my shoulders. I get the darn things in position and I turn the weight on, the resistance on. I do my lift. I turn the resistance off. There's none of that lurching, trying to get away. I thought it was perfect for a guy like me who doesn't have a spotter to get things in position and was hurting himself trying to work out hard. I'd like to work out hard. I don't want to, I'm not there for toning. Okay, nothing wrong with toning.
You want to work, you want to make sure it's worth your time.
Exactly. And so that's what this has done is let me work out with a lot of intensity, some pretty good resistance without hurting myself.
Do you feel like when you had your injury, did it have any sort of I don't know, like a physical therapy aspect, or did you kind of let yourself all the way heal and you didn't need it in that regard?
You don't know me at all, so not smart enough to let it heal.
But you're a doctor. Wait.
That's the worst kind.
They're the worst patients, right? Everybody knows that.
I give great advice. Okay, I don't follow great advice. So I didn't really let this heal super well. And to this day, I'm wearing kind of a brace when I work out because it's still naggy a little bit. And it's totally thrown off my golf game, which is a whole nother podcast. But anyway, no, I should have. I guess your question was both to expose my faults and also to talk about this as a physical therapy type device. But I think this is custom made for people doing their own physical therapy. I mean, my God, a 1 pound increment, and unlimited range of motion. If I had a brain in my head, I probably would be all better by now. But instead it was like, it's February and I'm going to lift 60,000 pounds for my birthday. That kind of a thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about that because when we were talking before the show started, before we officially started recording, you said something that I must have misheard, that you lift once a month 100,000 pounds in one workout. You could not have meant that.
So I was getting frustrated by the elbow. And I really wanted to get into high volume workouts. I'd like to do. I used to like to lift a lot of weight. So I said, I'm turning 60 in March 11th. If Kate or anybody wants to send me a free t-shirt, turn 60. And I want to see if I can do a 60,000 pound workout. Because I was doing 30, 40 and that wasn't too terrible. So I was doing 60 and it really wasn't that hard. I worked out and I got 60,000 pounds in. And then I'm like, well, what's the next step on this? And I thought, and I'm sure that people have done this. There's no way I'm the first person to do this. I'm certainly nowhere near the strongest guy, in the tonal room. So I'm not claiming ever to be the first guy to have done this, but I said, I'm going to do 100,000 pounds workout once a month. And, I've done that. I did one actually in March. So March, April, May, June, July. So I've done those 5 months and I've got, a couple time in August. My record, I think, is 112,000. And I try to do 1,000 pounds a minute. I don't do this over the course of an afternoon. My pace is usually about 1,000 pounds a minute. It takes me an hour and a half to an hour, 45 minutes, close to 2 hours when I did the 112. But yeah, I can do 100,000 pounds in a workout.
And then is that the only thing you do for the month? Is that how that works?
No, that's just my day. That's just my day. And, when honestly, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk here. I don't have delayed onset muscle soreness after that. I'll go out and do my day and play golf or do whatever I have to do. And the next day I'm kind of ready to go back and do what I'm going to do. You're not going to do this doing lateral raises, you're not going to do this with tricep extensions. You'll be there for a month, right? So this is this is squats and deadlifts and rows and bench presses and the big muscle groups. I can't imagine, I'd just die of boredom if I did this with smaller muscle groups. So I get it done with big muscle groups. And I've kind of, maxed out on the squats and the deadlifts, and the barbell rows and the upright rows. So it's easier to get there, and I'd like to do, shrugs, which is a non-official, off library movement, but that's part of my workout routine. And, I can use a high volume of that. So anyway, that's how that's done.
Wow.
So do you build
100,000 pounds once a month? What's that?
Do you build custom workouts or
primarily?
Okay.
Almost primarily. I'm a terrible guest for you because I literally today, and only because of you, I completed my first program. I've never done a program.
Yeah.
Because I know what I want to do.
Sure.
First, these tonal coaches are incredible. I listened to, Coach Liz's last night, as I kind of commented, I wish I knew 10% of what she knows. These people know their stuff and they know how to put programs together. I did raising the barbell too. That was the only program I've ever done, and I finished it today. And unlike most people whose curves go higher and higher and higher, no, mine, I think my second week was higher than my last week. In my first week, I was a newbie doing programs, so I actually skipped the first day because it was legs, and I had just done my legs the day before. I thought I'll just do it the next time, but no, you can't do that. You can't go back. So I missed a whole day of volume on that. But I got, my total was, I don't know, 500,000-600,000 for the program, which is fine. So I do primarily custom because I know what I want to do, but that's not to disparage the coaches, because I think they are incredible. I think that's one of the huge strengths of this machine, is you can know nothing about resistance training.
And I do.
They're gonna take you by the hand and say, Tom, here's how you start working out.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just want to say that doesn't make you a terrible guest. That makes you use tonal differently than we do, which is good, because it illustrates how many different ways people can use tonal.
There's not just one way to use the machine.
Exactly.
No, yeah, you're right. My stepdaughter, who's a D1 athlete, she plays college lacrosse. She has here, ironically, she has the workout just sitting there that she's supposed to be doing during the summer, and she will do that, adapt tonal to that. And she apparently was the envy of the team because she's got this tonal she can work out on. I to buy a hex bar, if anybody knows what that is, because she's supposed to do hex squats. So I literally adapted this hex bar to use on the tonal, and got huge amount of abuse from those mean kids over on Tonal Fitness Nation for that, because it really was kind of an ugly thing. But that's what she does. She adapts it to that.
I feel like I saw your post about that. I was fascinated.
Oh, no. Yeah, I got to get rid of that. It's just the amount of money I spent so that girl can do hex squats, but it's what she wants to do, and you can do it. You can do it.
Well, I mean, it's cool that the capabilities are there and that you're able to do that.
Yeah. And I do primarily custom to round back to what Tom, I do primarily custom workouts because I know what I want to do. And I wanted to try a program, and I thought it was great, and I will probably do another. Workout wise, I try to sprinkle them around from the coaches, but I'm a big P90X alum. And that was the first thing that my wife and I started to do when we transitioned from being Y-Rats to home gym people, is we hopped on P90X3. And so I really like Tony Horton, and I really like his workouts. I like his banter. I developed an immunity to his sense of humor. I said it's kind of like I spent a lifetime, becoming immune to that. It's like iocane powder. Tony Horton's shit cannot kill me. So I can listen to it and laugh. And the guy's 2 years older than me, so I can sit there and look at him and say, that's something to aspire to. Someday, in 2 years from now, I hope I have as much hair as he does. It gives me something to aspire to.
I wish I had as much hair as he does.
That's cool. And, I never really thought about that a lot of the exercise programs that are out there don't have coaches that are in their 60s. So I feel like that's kind of special for Tony Horton. And to be doing that on tonal, like that's forward thinking.
I think tonal is incredibly inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Body shapes, body sizes, ages, former pro athletes, people that you look at and don't think that they would be a coach. It's great. And I think everybody can find somebody to identify with. I identify with Tony Horton because of his age and his really bad sense of humor.
He is kind of goofy. I took one. I was like, I knew P90X only because it was mentioned in a Bruno Mars song, but I was just like, oh, is that what? Okay, this guy. Who am I to judge somebody for being goofy, right?
That's true.
My wife is not as devoted to tonal. She is not the tonalista that some other people are. Trademark. But she likes the Tony Horton workouts because it reminds her of when we used to do our P90X stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
They should call them Tonal Horton workouts.
They should call them that. They should.
I'll
you
trademark
tell him that. Yeah.
Do you guys do partner workouts together? Like, do you make the Tony Horton workouts like a partner workout?
I don't think you can do the Tony Horton workout.
Or are they not one of the ones you can
I
do?
might be wrong. Yeah, because
I can't do them in my house.
I might be wrong.
So
yeah, we did one partner workout, and she told me that was an interesting experience, never to be done again.
Okay.
Because we both like to do things quick, and she didn't like the idea of watching me rip through my set at double speed, because I know that she doesn't want to watch me do this. So I'm going through it at an incredible pace, but it's still, she's like, are you done yet? It's like, honey, I just did like 12 bench presses in 4 seconds. Is that not enough? So, yeah.
Things you don't want to hear your wife say.
Yeah, we were one and done. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tom?
You started it. So, and then yeah, I guess you have to be careful because she's.
Crystal, are you gonna watch what he says?
No.
No, she's given up.
I have given up. Like he is on his own out there. If it gets real bad, we cut it out.
Okay, good.
But I guess you have to be careful because you're a physician and she's a PA. You guys work together. So how's that go?
Yeah. So you
Seeing
guys
her all
live
day
together
long.
and spend all day together? How are you guys with that?
Okay. We work in the same office, not just same building. We literally share the same office. Her desk is like right there. And we do spend all that time together. Then we come home and have become, like a husband and wife together, having dinner, whatever. But our work and our home life are so interwoven at this point, it's very difficult to tease that out. And I've told her 100 times, I don't know what people do who don't work with their spouse, because I'm so used to it. And it works so well for us. And not everybody, I'd say that, and I can hear the internet rolling its eyes because not everybody is the same. But I can't imagine not working together.
I think it would be great. I would love that if I could talk to Tom.
We kind of do.
Well, that's true. I mean, there's very rarely an hour that goes by that we're not chatting.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah. Well, we do the same thing. We have the same specialty. We do primary care, family medicine. We work in the hospital. We admit patients. We round on patients. She works in the ICU, the CCU, the ER, just like I do. So she has basically the same skill set I do. I get paid more, but she does the same amount of work. It's a great gig. So we can communicate about things that really kind of an extra glue for the relationship. I've said that we have had the strangest pillow talk sometimes because she will sit there and be thinking about somebody, and I'll be like, okay, what's that about? She'll go, okay, I saw this guy today and I'm wondering if I did the right thing with this, and we'll just start talking about that. But that's what we are. And that's just what we are.
No, that makes a lot of sense. My parents owned a company together, and they owned a printing company, and they were happily married for 35 years. I mean, not to each other, but but it happened, right? Yeah. So that counts for something, I guess.
well, and the other thing is, we live in a really small town. I mean, there's 1,500 people maybe where we live. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It's a small town. So you have no privacy or anonymity. And so when we go for a run, we will always hear the next day or in the office, oh, saw you going for a run the other day. Literally last night playing in golf league, the guy I'm playing against says, gee, I saw your wife running and you weren't with her yesterday. Like,
everything okay?
Right.
Yeah, did you piss her off? What happened?
Exactly. So, I mean, the fact that this guy who, I played against once knows that I'm not running with my wife on that day. So our work life and our home life become so intertwined that it's very difficult in this situation to imagine it being different.
You were describing the town you live in before we started recording, and in my head, I pictured the film Funny Farm with Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that. He moves to a small, I think, in upstate New York. And
yeah. My generation is called Green Acres, but you kids in your Chevy Chase movies, that's okay.
Yes. I watched Green Acres as well. I was just discussing the history of Green Acres 2 days ago with my 17-year-old.
Yes.
And then I went on a 10-minute diatribe about the rural purge. So you don't want to get me started on the history of sitcoms.
Yeah.
We will be here all day and never get back to Tonal.
You will.
Our small town is in very, very northern New York. We're about 45 minutes from Canadian border. We're a short 50-minute drive from Lake Ontario. So we are very north. When people say New York, they think New York City, which is nothing wrong with it. It's my favorite city. We love to go to New York, but we're much closer geographically and probably from a mindset to Toronto or Montreal than we are in New York. We're way up there. We're in what they call the snow belt, and we get a lot of snow.
Wow.
It's good to be that close to Canada in case you need to make a break for it.
Yeah, I know, except they've kept us out lately. I mean, we've not been to Canada in 2 years, and that's our recreation. We'll love to go to Canada.
Wow.
So, and someday the border will reopen and we'll all be friends again.
Yeah. And how wonderful to have your Tonal during the winter when it's all that snow and you can't go outside.
Well, yeah, because before you would get up in the morning and there would be 2 to 3 feet of snow in your driveway and you would not be able to get to the Y.
100,000 pounds of shoveling.
You could. Yes, you could. But that was a negative incentive to get to the Y. And so, you can't be going out, you can't be having a cup of coffee or 2 or 3 or 4 with your wife, and then you both go downstairs and work out. You just can't, you can't beat that.
Yeah, definitely.
She does her thing. She likes, she's in great shape. She got in great shape, doing Kathy Smith of all things back when on a VHS.
I remember Kathy Smith. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
And and that has been the model that she's always liked to do. So then it became P90X, and now there's other Beachbody type stuff. She kind of likes that. And she will come over and do Tony Horton on the Tonal. I don't like that. And I like tech stuff. So this is right up my alley. So we're in the same space, but I will occasionally go over and do some of hers because it feels nice to do the same thing. And I like their ab workouts, but we're kind of in the same space, but I'd much rather do my Tonal than anything because I'm a tech guy.
So, do you guys, are you saying that you do the Kathy Smith workouts on the VHS? You still have those?
We don't have VHS anymore. And so she actually has that on a DVD, but she's kind of moved a little away from that. Every now and then I think Kathy works her way in, but you know what? It's a really hard workout. You're laughing, but every now and then I'll just swing on over and there's Kathy wearing her stuff from the 80s. But when it's done, it's like, yeah, okay, my legs hurt, but I'm not saying anything.
I mean, the premise is still functional, right? Like it's still,
I
was more just like, you're using a VHS to work out. Wait.
No, we moved past that. It's
you're on the DVD player. Got it.
Yes. What you kids call the Blu-ray. So.
That's funny. So I usually only ask this if we're talking about on the Peloton side of things, but we have the leaderboard now for Tonal. So do you have the leaderboard? Do you have a leaderboard name? Is it just your name, or did you add an actual? I saw
that question. I literally don't know what my leaderboard name is. I know it's not clever. Okay. And I felt bad when you asked that because I guess that could be clever. I saw one the other day. Tonal Stark, one of the members. I thought, God, that guy's got it. He thought his way through. Some of the leaderboard names are great, and I know that not from the leaderboard, but because of their official Tonal community Facebook posts. So you kind of see it there when they post stuff. I don't look at the leaderboard. I think the leaderboard is a great thing, and I think that measuring the amount of time people spend on their Tonal is a great way to be inclusive. I don't find that useful for me because I try to do 1,000 pounds a minute. I'm not spending a lot of time on a Tonal.
You're like the opposite of that metric.
I'm the anti that. I don't think I've ever broken the top 2,000. And I think that's when there were 2,003 people who own them. And I don't think I've ever, I see these people and I'm in 8th place, 5th place, and I admire that. I admire the heck out of that. Michelle Tees who are so well-rounded in what they do. I mean, I'm not. I am really strong and that's it, period. I am not flexible. I am not a good meditator. Damn it. And, I just don't do the rest of that well. So I don't spend that much time on it.
Okay.
I don't even know where to go to find the leaderboard.
Well, that's because you don't have the app.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
Right.
Yeah. He refuses to download the app.
Yeah. It's on the interweb, Tom.
Ah.
So there. And, we have the
Can I get that on Netscape?
You can get that on Netscape. AOL.com. And we also, Peloton's part of our lives too, but, ironically, she hates to ride a bike and I don't like to run on a treadmill. So she has a tread and I have the bike, and that's our cardio that we tend to put them on mothballs. They literally stop my Peloton subscription in the summer because we'd rather run.
Yeah.
And then when the snow falls and they don't really take care of the sidewalks here because it would be too much work, you can't run outside. So that's when we break out the Peloton again. And she runs on the tread, which we love, and I do the bike.
So what is a typical what's a typical week look like for your workouts then? 5 minutes on Tonal doing doing your 1,000 pounds?
What is our typical workout? Our typical workout is the weekend. We like to run. Weekend is and then I will try to get one weekend lift in. And then I try to do most of my resistance training during the week. My wife has to start an hour earlier than I do in our office. So twice a week, typically, she will come downstairs and do either Tony Horton on Tonal, or typically, like a 90-day fix extreme is her thing that she really enjoys the most. So she will do one of those while I'm on the Tonal. My typical is 3 days on the Tonal during the week, 1 day on the weekend. And then I put my cardio around that. But I get a lot of cardio out of the Tonal. I am spending, my Peloton and I are spending a little time apart.
There's nothing wrong with that because there's so much to do on Tonal, and I know that that's not how you're using it.
Right. It's not my bike; it's me, and I let my bike know that. So, but
hopefully you let it down gently. Hopefully
I just kind of left my shoes on it and never came back for a while. But I still use it. I like it. I'm not denigrating it one bit. I think it's an amazing piece of hardware, and I think their concept is incredible. But I can get my heart rate up on the Tonal to the same extent I can on my bike. And it's a different coaching style. I've never been a big fan of the Peloton coaching style.
Okay.
Asterisk, I would love. But I just don't respond well to the aspirational approach.
Not your thing.
Because I'm a little cynical, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I really admire people that can do that. But that's not for me.
Okay. So Tom and I talk about that all the time, about that he gets his heart rate up on the Tonal. And we always kind of are unsure if that really counts as cardio, mostly because we've been working on MetPro. And so the reason I say that is because they're always well, you need to do kind of a steady state cardio. And that's really hard to do when you're lifting weights because your heart rate's up and down a little bit. It'll spike when you're doing something real fast, and then you might take,
but there's benefit from that physiologically.
Absolutely.
You need both. I mean, you train your heart well by making it spike like that. I mean, that's the whole idea behind the high intensity interval training. And you also help it, and your body becomes stronger through the sustained, respiratory effort of a steady state. And so I think the best of both worlds is I can spike my heart rate doing a really good aggressive Tonal workout, and I can do the sustained stuff on my Peloton.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like people need to hear that because I think it doesn't have to be so black and white that it's strength is strength and cardio is cardio, and you can't, and I feel like there's not a lot of talk about that. So I think
everything is so tribal these days anyway. I mean, why can't we just agree that exercise is a good thing? And if you like to do resistance training, you're probably helping your cardio. And if you like to do cardio, you're probably getting stronger legs. And we probably would all be better if we did some of each.
Yeah, It's true.
Everybody wants that perfect formula.
Yeah.
Like, I did it the perfect way.
They
and
do.
Now I will live forever.
Well, and not just that,
Exactly.
but they usually want to get to a certain weight, and it's they want to look a certain way. So it's
Right.
what's going to achieve that. It becomes
Well, right. And you see that on the posts on the tonal community is I can't wait for my tonal to come. I want to lose 60 pounds, and people have done it and they admire the heck out of that. But typically a person is not going to lose a ton of weight just by exclusively changing one part of their life. They can work out really aggressively, or they can be strap themselves to the Peloton or do whatever. But unless they change their eating habits and they change their activity level, you probably aren't going to get to that. It has to be a complete lifestyle readjustment. And buying a tonal and just working out will certainly make you stronger, healthier, and happier, but you're probably not going to lose 60 pounds. There are exceptions. Now, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
all good advice.
Absolutely. You should be a doctor.
Yeah.
You should do this for
I know. I tell my wife that.
And she's probably like, shut up.
All the time. You've been there.
Yeah. They're good at that.
Yeah. No, she puts up with it to some extent. Go ahead.
So do you have any advice for people that are just getting a tonal?
Yes. And I'm a jerk about that, but I literally hit my head against the wall wondering how people could spend $3,000 plus and not know that their handles need to be paired, or the bar control module can move, or jump into it with an advanced high, I'm going to do raise the barbell 2 when I haven't done anything in 10 years, or even done something like this. When you have these amazing programs, and I always refer people to starting out with tonal, which teaches you, here's how you move the arms. Here's, how you turn the weights on and off. Here's how you adjust. Here's what the different, there are people who have had this thing for weeks or months or longer and don't know about the dynamic resistant modes, which are a game changer because they just dove right in. And so my advice for people is, yes, you're eager and you're super excited. First, don't do the rookie move of buying a bunch of accessories, because you probably won't need those fancy handles. Save them for when you're in a little bit of a lull and you need to, do something to reinvigorate your workout. Don't have them sitting there because you're probably not going to touch them for 6 months. Just use what comes with the machine and start out with something like starting out with tonal, so you know how to use your machine. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can move the bar control module to the rope. Oh, that's why my handles, nothing's happening. I haven't paired them, kind of thing. And here's how you work out. She teaches people how to work out. So people, it's all there.
That's great advice. Yeah,
absolutely. It's funny you say that about the
I kept the rant down too, didn't I?
You did. Yeah.
It's funny you say that about the different things that attach. We have a thing that hangs there that's kind of like it's bent. I don't know what it is. I've never once had to use it. Did it come with the machine, honey? I have no idea.
No, it's a curling bar like I had behind me, and they're great, but I don't need it. I use it because it's easier on, my biceps tendons, and I've always used a curling bar, but I certainly didn't need it. If I were new to tonal, I wouldn't use it.
Yeah. I've never touched it. It's just always, I should probably move it. It's just in the way when I'm trying to hang up the other things. I'm always working around. I should move it to the other end where we never go.
Right. But again, I was a Y-Rat for, 10, 15 years. I used every kind of thing they had there. So I didn't want to lose any of that. So that's why I've got all the different handles and all different stuff, because frankly, I can do all of that here.
Yeah. And that makes sense. Yeah. Definitely.
Right. I don't need any of that.
Okay.
No,
I'm not
yet.
Enough.
No one needs any of that. And you see people say, getting my tonal in 3 months, what should I buy in the meantime?
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Don't.
I agree.
Buy T-locks, because you can never find them babies.
Yeah.
Or buy some T-locks and put them away. But
if nothing else, you could resell them for twice there.
Exactly. You can pay the $20 shipping fee.
Like getting a good rookie card. Yeah.
You mentioned in the when we were going back and forth about setting up this interview, you mentioned that you guys have like courses that you do as part of your practice, and it's like helping people how to cook, it's like that. I'm really
Yes. So it's called culinary medicine, which is this concept that you can use food to augment medical care, not to replace it. This is not cinnamon can cure diabetes, or tarragon can make cancer go away. This is saying if you eat good whole foods prepared in a healthy way, you will need less prescription medication and you will find yourself in a healthier way. And this comes from the idea that, frankly, people don't generally cook as much as they used to. Okay.
Yeah.
So Harvard, the public health school at Harvard, started these things called teaching kitchens, which is teaching medical providers how to teach patients how to cook. And then, which sounds very frou-frou, but is actually incredibly pragmatic. And what it is we took some courses out in Napa. That was hard. Learned how to apply this. And then, so in our office, a little rural office up in the middle of nowhere, patients could come in and our hospital pays for all this. It's entirely free. They will come in and have a 3-hour cooking class. Usually we're on a Mediterranean diet because it's such a healthy diet, but teaching simple techniques like, well, let's learn how to roast these vegetables rather than steam or boil them. Okay. Let's deal with fish because everybody's afraid of fish. Okay. So let's make sure we have a good fish dish or seafood dish. And we bring in, we have an excellent nutritionist. She's wonderful. She comes to almost all of them on her own time. We teach medical students and residents at the hospital. They come and both do dishes for us, which is key, but also I assign them a topic. So they might want to talk about the health benefits of farro or the difference between farm raised and wild salmon. And so we get them involved that way. And it's been immensely successful. Our hospital was very generous. They bought teaching cooking stations like restaurant grade nice sets, cutting boards, whisks, whatever, for 12 learners. We quickly had to expand to 22 because we had so many people signing up. And they were terrific. And then COVID hit. And so they've been mothballed until we get past this mess. And then we'll do them again. But the idea is when we say to people, someone says, I don't eat breakfast. So then we probe, why not? Why don't you eat breakfast? Well, I don't have time. Okay, let me talk to you about a couple things that you can do that will have a good breakfast home. I'll teach you how to make chia seed yogurt, okay, or overnight oats. And I will hand them recipes. It's unusual for a patient to leave my exam room without a recipe because I will say, I'm serious.
I think it's great. I love it.
Practical stuff. It is. Yeah. Oh, you say you don't have time for breakfast. Here, just take this home. Go across the street to the Tops grocery store. And again, we buy everything at our local grocery store. If you have to go to, 60 miles to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, that's not going to work. So if I can't buy it across the street, we don't use it. So go across the street, buy some oats, buy some almond milk. Okay. Here's the recipe. Stir this together. In the morning when you get up, you'll be able to put this in the microwave, heat it up and go. And off they go. Not spending all day because I got medicine to do for a living. But they're leaving. I'm probing for something that's keeping them from cooking, not eating, but cooking in a way that helps their health. And we are finding stuff. I mean, I had a patient who is a nurse who revealed to me that she's been married for 30 years and they have never turned on their stove or oven. What? Everything they've eaten their entire married life is takeout or microwave.
Wow.
And she was a nurse and she was very a little sheepish to admit that. Yeah. But yeah, there's people out there, wow. And we're getting hit on all sides. The dollar store phenomenon. Walk into a dollar store someday and look what's near the register. Full of little Debbie snack cakes, convenience foods, meat products that are full of salt, things that you can get and consume that's prepared that are terrible for you.
Yeah.
But people are buying more and more of the groceries at dollar stores, which is really cutting into the ability for real grocery stores to provide good food sources for people.
Wow.
I think I soapbox there. Did I soapbox there? I think so.
Well, you provided information for
Yes.
people, but
Yeah, okay.
is there like a local search that people could do to see if there's programs in their area like you're providing? Because I think that could be helpful for a lot of
Well,
people.
yeah, absolutely. And I would just search culinary medicine or teaching kitchens. I would do teaching kitchens, and then put your state.
Okay.
Because, right now, and they're not many. I mean, this is, who has teaching kitchens? Google has a teaching kitchen. Apple has a teaching kitchen.
Right.
Okay. Harvard,
Right.
Stanford, Adams, New York, Samaritan Family Health Office in Adams, you're not going to expect you're going to find a teaching kitchen. But the aim of this movement is you're going to find these spread out into primary care areas. And we've gone to these courses Harvard puts on, and every time there's more and more people because people are realizing it's actually a really good way to connect with your patients and try to make them healthy.
That's wonderful. I think that's really great. I feel like one of the things that Tom and I have learned through doing MetPro is like a different relationship with food, because we typically would do a lot of, I wouldn't call it, we didn't eat out like all the time, but what we did do was have like quick foods that were prepackaged, a lot of that. And I feel like we do a lot less of that now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I personally enjoy the food better and more than I would have expected. So I think that could be really helpful for a lot of people.
It is. It's interesting that the lifestyle measure that correlates the most with good health, they used to think it was how much time you spent a day actually cooking. But it turns out it's actually refined as actually how much time do you spend doing your dishes. And you can correlate your health to that, because the more time you spend doing dishes means you didn't buy prepared food.
Right.
You chopped, you sauteed.
We are crushing it, Tom.
Yes, because
we are crushing it.
We're always fighting the battle of keeping the sink empty because
Right. Okay.
we just bought a
if you're
whole new
doing that,
dishwasher
Yes.
because the other
there's
one was so
nothing
bad.
that's pre-prepared. You're
Yes,
making your own
exactly.
salad dressings rather than buy glub out of a bottle. Okay.
Yeah.
So when people, you look at that pile of dishes and say, well, I wish it were my turn. It does correlate with the fact that you're making tremendous inroads into improving the way that you're fueling your body.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah,
It's good to know.
Absolutely.
makes you feel better, doesn't it, with all those dishes?
Yeah,
It does, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something good about the dishes.
A fresh perspective.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Before we let you go, where can people find you on social media if you would like to be found?
They can't find me on social media because
Awesome.
I'm antisocial.
I don't blame you.
I mean, I have an Instagram account just because I was goofing with the kids one day. It lists me as a paper salesman. I don't. Well, there's a longer story, but it's not that. And then I'm not a social media guy. I'm just a kind of a hermit guy up here in the North Country, doing my thing.
Okay.
Well, enjoy. It sounds like a nice life.
It does. It sounds wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you for taking a step away from your wonderful life and joining us.
Thanks. I got to go up and cook now.
Us too.
Yeah, we do too. Well, I hope you have a wonderful dinner, and thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next time, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at Crystal D. O'Keefe at Facebook.com. They can also find me on the Tonal app under Clip Out Crystal. And if you would like to follow me on social media, I am over on Instagram and Twitter at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at Facebook.com/Superset Podcast. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and don't forget, wherever you're getting your podcasts from, be sure and subscribe or follow so you never miss an episode. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep lifting.
Smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right. AI, form and vibe. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a tonal workout.
The Superset is made possible in part by support from Tonal.